Welcome to GREYS, your one-stop shop to finding winners across Australia from the world of greyhound racing. Host David Shortte is joined by Harry Buchanan from the Greyhound Insider, Jaycin Campbell to look at Queensland and Tasmanian chasing, Hall of Famer Neil Brown, Sean Matheson looking at South Australian chasing, New South Wales expert Simon Orchard, and the Shane Train Williams rounds it out with his key plays and kennel mail in WA. Now, over to the team for this week's edition of GREYS.
Good morning and welcome along to GREYS on this Tuesday, the 15th of February 2024. David Shortte with you. Hope you're travelling particularly well. We've got a very busy program upcoming, lots of races for broadcast throughout the course of the show. So let's get straight into it and welcome in Harry Buchanan on this Thursday. G'day, H.
Yeah, good morning, Shorty. Good morning, listeners. Good to be with you today. Great man.
Yeah, nice to be catching up with you, Harry. Let's get into the action for today. We had a big edition of the Coast to Coast podcast yesterday. We caught up with Casey McCutcheon from Mintbet, and big announcement there. The former Sandgroper, Big Energy, will be heading across to have a tilt at the Sandgroper in that Mintbet slot. And I know that with it being largely owned here in WA, it is a very, very exciting time. I know Kirsty Moore and Gav and all of the crew are absolutely delighted to have Big Energy representing them and the Mintbet team there in the Sandgroper. That leaves us with Morton for Tab Touch, Explicit coming off the Group 1 win last Saturday night for Punters HQ, and now, if you do not mind, punters, throwing into the mix there, Big Energy for Mintbet. That is quite the benchmark that we've set with our first three runners into the Sandgroper, H.
Yeah, if that's the benchmark, I look forward to seeing what the other five look like coming into the Sandgroper. That was a bit of a shock announcement. We're having a chat to Casey and looking for a bit of insight into Mintbet and their involvement in the Sandgroper, and he's just dropped that on us with Big Energy. And I can tell you, Shorty, that Kirsty Moore's joining us next week on Coast to Coast. I had a chat to her this morning. She's very excited, and she's going to join us next Wednesday on our podcast there and give us a little more insight into how that all came about. And the dog Big Energy going back over there to WA. Haven't seen him over there since, well, it's been well over a year, November 2022, so it has been some time. But as we said yesterday, Shorty, he is a different commodity now, a completely different greyhound, and he is an absolute weapon. So can only imagine what he'd scoot around Kennington like these days, but it is a really exciting addition to the Sandgroper.
Yeah, big time. He has run some sizzling times across there at the Metropolitan Track, so it'll be great to see Big Energy back in town. We've spoken to a bunch of the slot holders over the last 4 weeks on the Coast to Coast podcast. You can always go back and listen to those if you've missed them and would like a bit of insight into the slot holders and why they're involved in the Sandgroper. We'll continue week by week our chat in regards to the Sandgroper on that Coast to Coast podcast each and every Wednesday afternoon. It drops from 4:30 Western Standard Time. Tremendous chasing to look forward to over the next little bit, H. We have got the first race from Goulburn coming up in a minute 20, punters. So if you're looking to have a bet on the first at Goulburn, get your bets on a bit over a minute to get them on now. We've got the Australian Cup semis to look forward to on Saturday night at the Meadows. Another stunning program there, H. And for the Tab Touch punters out there, there are a stack of jackpots as well on this meeting.
Yeah, there certainly is. All the first fours for those feature semis and the two heats of the Fanabale Stayers, which is races 3 and 4 on the card. You can get your hands on those jackpot dollars if you can nail those first fours down. So it's great racing again on Saturday night. I love the fact that it's a 3-week series and we get to see some semi-finals after those heats. It also gives the dogs an opportunity to have one more crack to get into that final, and we're in for a real treat Saturday night. These are outstanding, these 4 heats. Cannot wait for it. We're going to dissect them a lot further tomorrow on the mail collection. But if you like a ground race, and make sure you get around the Meadows on Saturday night, because there are 6 quality races amongst a 12 event card, and it's going to be absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely. They're just about ready for the first here at Goulburn. We'll take that and be back with Harry Buchanan.
Field set for the Goulburn Roofing Class 1 handicap. First of 8 Goulburn, soft 7, rail 4 metres. First favourite Sky Artist in the black with the yellow V and the striped sleeves. Chad Schofield riding for Annabelle Neesham. And they're ready to go. Stand by. They're off. Sky Artist came away in third position. Candlelit was the first one to begin. Really sprung the gates this afternoon. Off to Hizzle quickly into second position. Rhineland, Sky Artist just a little wide as they work to the far turn. Mood Killer's back second last on the rails. And Promising Prospect is the last one. So Candlelit gets an uncontested lead here as they work off the back from Off to Hizzle second, 800 metres left to go. Sky Artist is third and Mood Killer is fourth on the inside. Then Rhineland just being felt for to keep its spot, and Promising Prospect is the last one. So 600 metres left to go. Candlelit from Off to Hizzle and Sky Artist Let's Slide. Goes up three wide to join the leaders. Promising Prospect onto its back from Rhineland struggling, and Mood Killer's cut the corners, come up right up underneath them there, and is about to try and get up underneath the leader Candlelit, who's quickly joined here by Sky Artist. So Sky Artist ran to Candlelit. Promising Prospect is running on past the 200. Sky Artist in front from Candlelit. Promising Prospect, and then Off to Hizzle. Sky Artist in front, 100 to go. More than a length cleared to Promising Prospect. First favourite wins. Sky Artist beat Promising Prospect, Candlelit, Off to Hizzle, then Rhineland and Mood Killer.
So the first race going to Sky Artist, 190 and 140 over Promising Prospect at 240, number 4, at NTD for 1, Candlelit. And the mounting out at Hamilton for the first one, Crafty Boss Tote, $2 ahead of 4, Star Tavistock at 3, and number 3, My Matterhorn at 8, double figures others, first leg of the quaddie. $1.60 from $2, Crafty Boss Fix.
You're listening to Great Greys on Tab Radio.
Well, it's now 7 minutes after 10. We're catching up with Harry Buchanan. Harry, the other real highlight of the weekend, we had heats last Friday night down there at Mandurah, and we've been left with a cracking Mandurah Middle Distance Challenge final. It should be a tremendous race. Last week, it was certainly a case of the dogs that had been there and seen the 652-metre trip in the past that had the advantage. Jamie Keeping was the fastest of qualifiers there last week, leading throughout in 37.02. The kennel mate, Stevie Minnelli, another of the heat winners, so the Shane train goes in with 2 of the heat winners. They're both at pretty big odds for the final, though. Jamie Keeping 11, 13 for Stevie Minnelli. And we also saw Sunset Louis run down Flying Frida in 37 and 21. Flying Frida has been very well commissioned in this market, opened up at $2.25 and has been crunched into an odds-on quote now of $1.70.
Yeah, they can have that all to themselves, Shorty. And look, she's a quality bitch, don't get me wrong. In saying that, for those that don't know, it's a very short run to the first turn. The 652 at Mandurah, box 8, and she's a good beginner. We know that, but I'm just not sure what she did last week. I think Sunset Louis is a little underrated. This market's a bit topsy-turvy just since yesterday. There's been a couple of these dogs eased dramatically here. Stevie Minnelli, 7s to 13, 6 to 11s, Jamie Keeping, Clifton Cruz out the gate, 7s to 19s. And as you've just mentioned, support for Flying Frida, support for Chloe. I think the dog in box 1, Shorty Savick, he was in a top of 9. He's into 650 now. And this is one of the dogs that you will see a very different version of this week. First of all, he's got his box, but most of all, he's had that look at Mandurah last week. He's been over here for a few starts now, a former Victorian stayer, and he's a very good one at that. He's in a very good kennel. And he's got a great draw here with Stevie Minnelli outside him. It's a superb race, this one. We'll dissect that again further tomorrow. But as I said yesterday, you can have 4 or 5 goes at this one, Shorty, and probably still miss. There's several dogs in this who are more than capable of winning this race.
Most definitely, yeah. And it's unusual. We did mention yesterday, for a staying event, often you sort of end up with 60 to 70% of the field, only moderate to slow beginners. That's generally how a lot of these dogs do run the trip out. I will say, though, this race has got 4 or 5 early beginners that do their best staying when they can land up on top of the pace. So there could be a fair bit of pressure in the early part of this race. And if that is to be the case, it could be tricky for a couple of those dogs that are used to having it their own way up front, and potentially could set it up for a dog that's just off speed and nice and strong late. It's going to be a cracking feature there at Mandurah on a Friday night. Let's see if we can't build a bank, though, for that card, Harry. We've got a good program to look forward to tonight there there at Sandown, and also likewise tonight there at Mandurah. Really like the look of that program. Down there at the Coastal Circuit, had a look on the weather map there. I think a top of 37 in comparison to the Metro, 43 degrees today in the CBD. So a lot cooler. They've got the aid of being close to the coast, and should have a really good program tonight there in good conditions for those greyhounds. Let's get your thoughts for Sandown Thursday and down there at Mandurah tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. Yeah, I'm pretty keen on both the cards, to be quite honest, especially Mandurah, but we will kick it off at Sandown. Race 2, number 2 here, Shayna Bale. This is one of those Droopy Sydney, Winnie Allen pups. Droopy Sydney's got a couple of litters on the ground now through the daily kennels, and they're very, very promising, a lot of them. And this is one of them. Wanted the fence really badly when it won at the Meadows last start, but it just sustains a really strong run home from up the back, right through to the line, gets a vacant box inside now with no reserves, so basically has box 1 perfectly placed here. The only question mark is it hasn't seen Sandown yet, but as we've seen so many times before, it doesn't really bother the dogs from this kennel. They've probably seen that track before in their trials, and pretty keen to team up with her in race 2 there. Over to race 4, I've got a lot of time for this dog, Bunstorm. He's another one of the Droopy Sydney brigade. He's out of Gypsy Bun. He was outstanding last start behind Tommy Tequila. He just took a little while to find his rhythm and get a gap up the back. Prior to that, he led most of the way at the Meadows, and he gave them a drubbing, almost 7 lengths, 30.07. He's a very good dog on the way up, or she is, I should say. I have that bad habit of doing that to these dogs. She's last start, as I said, behind Tommy Tequila, a few more bounds. I reckon she's got much, much closer. Don't let the 1.2 lengths fool you. She was absolutely rattling, but she has got early speed. Even if she doesn't lead here, at around the $7 with Tab Touch, I think she's a great each-way bet. She can certainly hit the frame, and I think the dog in box 1's the Lamplighter was the dog in box 2. I think she just gets over behind them there. She'll be very hard to stop late. And then we'll round it out with race 8, number 3, Akina Jack. He's the best dog in the race. There's no two ways about that. He's got a much more superior form line than his opposition here. Getting around 270. He's been well supported. He's off a string of seconds, but he is trying really hard. It's going to be a different story tonight. He's a very, very good dog around this circuit. That'll be Sandown, race 2, number 2, race 4, number 4, race 8, number 3, heading across to Mandurah. We're going to kick it off in race 7 here. I'm going to team up with Rex Hunter. I'm going to have a little saver on Turtle Fernando. I think he's a roving banker type before, but I just think the 7, if he steps, he's got superior pace. I think Henry Keating can give him that run across. He's coming out of the dash final where he just made that little error at box rise, and look, I haven't seen him repeat it twice in a row, so I don't think that'll happen tonight. If he gets on the arm, they're going to have to break 17 from behind to get over the top of him, and none of these can do that, especially off the arm. So we'll team up with Rexy there to get in front. Keep an eye on Turtle Fernando, though. Down to race 10, number 1, Redshift Hotel. The box is the difference here, Shorty. This dog has yet to see a box 1 since arriving in WA. It's had a shocking run of box draws. A lot of 4s, 5s and 6s in there. Last week off box 2, just missed the start, but you could see the acceleration just after it left on that. He went really quick tonight off the inside. Even if he can just come out with them, I think he has a superior turn of foot here. Crisscross Lass likes to stay up the track a little bit as well. I think he's going to get the right run. If he gets in front, I expect him to break 17, as I do in race 12, number 4, Sunset Bubbles. Best beginner in the race here. She should get straight onto the arm. She's certainly a very good Mandurah dog. 3-time winner, 8-time place getter already. Track and trip stats are superb, and she never misses the kick. And as I said, if she gets on the arm, she'll run low 17s. They won't catch her. Race 7, number 7, Rexy Hunter. Race 10, number 1, Redshift Hotel. Race 12, number 4, Sunset Bubbles at Mandurah this evening. Shorty.
Beautifully done, Harry. Appreciate your time as always here on Great Greys. We'll team up again tomorrow. We'll hear from you with the boys on the Sports Daily at 6:30, and then tomorrow afternoon, the Mail Collection with yourself and Ethan Christian. Looking forward to it, mate. Many winners until then.
Talk soon. Thanks, Shorty.
This is your home of the Greyhound Good Oil, Great Greys.
Where it's now 18 minutes after 10. We're not far away from catching up with Jaycin Campbell. I think his line might have just dropped out there. We'll be back with him in just a few moments, though, and he will have a look at all of the action for tonight there at Albion Park. He's also got one for us down there in Hobart to look forward to. Still to come on the program, Neil Brown will join us to talk all things chasing this evening there at Sandown. We'll also have a chat to Sean Matheson, looking at all things SA chasing. Simon Orchard with the latest in New South Wales, and rounding it out with the Shane train. He's back from Ireland and team are firing on all cylinders. So looking forward to having a chat there with the train over the next little patch and finding out how his trip to Ireland went and see if he can't find us a winner or two for the weekend of chasing upcoming. But we should be just about right now to catch up with our man Jaycin Campbell. We'll have a look at this card tonight up there at Albion Park. Hello, JC. How do we find you today?
Yeah, can't complain, Shorty. How are you, mate?
Going really well, thanks, mate. It's pretty warm over here, but lots of great hot action on the track as well, as there is tonight up there at Albion Park. Talk us through your three best bets on the card tonight up there at the Creek.
Starting off in race one, the banker bet of the night for me should be in all Maltese. Number one, Guffman. He won his first three races at Ipswich, including the Vince Curry Memorial, which is the richest maiden across Australia. He was quite unlucky on his Albion Park debut last Thursday. He drew the squeeze box and got smashed in the first turn. Much better suited here to box one. I think he'll take great benefit from having that look. Race four, number 8, Cobblepot here. Was very good on Monday night from box one. Jumped straight to the front, run really good sections down the back, ran around that 17 dead down the back, which is absolutely flying. Held on to win in 30-11. I just think there's a lack of speed drawn inside it, and I think it can cross, and if it can replicate similar time to what it did on Monday night, it should be hard enough to run down, and it probably should be favourite in this race. And then going to the best 8 race on the night, race 9, number 2, All Natural. He was only beaten a lip by Morton in that Gold Bullion a fortnight ago. Prior to this, he's pretty much been, to some degree, the king of Albion Park, him and his brother. He won his previous 5 races before that. I think he's boxed really well here with Seaton Keaton 1, who's a bit of a tardy beginner, and there's just not a lot of speed outside him other than Magistrate. I think he can find the front, and if he does that, he'll be very hard to beat.
Very nice. 3 key plays tonight there, the best of them getting it early. Race 1, number 1, Duffman. Race 4, number 8, Cobblepot. Race 9, number 2, All Natural. You got one for us tonight down there in Hobart early on in the program as well? Yeah,
a bit of Western Australian flavour at Hobart tonight. Race 2, number 8, Rio Tokyo. I just feel like this bit's bringing superior form lines to this race. As many of the listeners would know, Black Salmon refer to trader Pat Up Declan. Some of the sharper short course dogs over in WA right now. Boxed really well here in the 8, I think. She looks like she wants box 8, and it's just not really much going around in this race, so I think she can land a first-up crush in Tasmania.
All right, the Floss Runner, race 2, number 8, Rio Tokyo to get the job done. Anything from your camp worth following over the next little bit there, Jace?
Yeah, I think Dixie gambles tonight in race 8, 600-metre final. I think she should be hard enough to beat. It just depends how she, backs up from her first 600 the other night. If she can replicate her first sections again and run home quite well, she could be actually a really nice dog at 600, even though she's already done what she's had to do at 500. She has the first two sections are actually probably close enough to group class without getting ahead of myself. So I think she'll be hard enough to beat tonight.
Very nice. Race 8, number 3, Dixie Gambles. We'll get around her as well, around that $5 mark. Might be a nice each-way play later on in the card. Appreciate your time as always, Jace. Good luck over the next few nights.
Thanks, Shorty.
There we have it, Jaycin Campbell with us this morning here on TAB Radio. It's now 22 minutes after 10. You're tuned into Great Greys. We've got plenty still to come. Neil Brown just around the corner. We might throw back to Matty and see if we can't clear those dividends from race number 1 of the day at Hamilton.
And the interim there on the first event, 6 Diwali at 17.50, 3.10, 1 Crafty Boss $1.04, 8 Street Seeker $3.90, Quadella $12.60, the Exacta $54.70, Trifecta $376.40, and 6-1 8 and 5. First 4, $2,300 and $8.80. There were no scratchings, and those dibs at interim race number 1 at Hamilton. Looking at the next at Kangaroo Island, the first for coverage there. Persian Empire, $3.50, number 4. 2, Prince Takia is at $4.50 and $5, 3 and 7. Hobo Bob and Run On, first leg of the first quaddie, and it's NTD.
You are tuned into Shorty and the team on Great Greys.
Where we catch up with the Hall of Famer Neil Brown to have a look at Sandown for this evening. Welcome to you, Neil. How do we find you today?
I'm well, David. Looking forward to a nice, pleasant day weather-wise here. Had a mixed week, so looking forward to greyhound racing tonight at Sandown Park in good weather conditions.
Indeed. I would suggest at some point you're going to get the tail end of some of the stuff we're copping here, Brownie. 43 degrees today over here in the west.
You can keep that. You can keep it. We don't need it too hot.
It's funny you say that. Most people I know on the East Coast have sent me very similar responses when they found out about the weather. I can understand that. Let's get into this program tonight at Sandown, see if we can't find a few winners for the punters. Early quaddie gets underway, 3:49 Western Standard Time this afternoon. It's a grade 7 over the 5:15. Talk us through your early quaddie legs.
Yeah, I'm going to take 4 in this league, 1, 6, 3 and 5. I've got pass mark on top. Very open race, plenty of chances. Race number 2, 5:15 metres, David here, grade 6, 8.76 here. Fairly open race again. I've got Lakeview Emily on top. Race number 3 over the 5:15, I've gone 8, 7 and 1. Think Divine Nature can win there, down in grade a little bit. And race number 4, 1, 2, 7. Looks very hard to beat, Tommy Tequila. I did make it our best bet. I don't tip him under $2 very often, David, but $1.85 he is at the moment. He's been on fire, flying, and I think Tommy Tequila win the last leg of the early quad and make it our best bet of the night tonight. Going to the main quad tonight, race number 5, 5.95 metres, 3.24 for me here. It's a hard race. I've got Johnny Cool on top. I think he might be the best beginner of the grounds I like. Kenya Amy has been well backed. I think it's got a chance. And Cuthbert Binns, I think, is worth taking as well. So 3, 2 and 4 in race number 5. Race number 6, here is a pretty good race here. 2, 1, 6 for me. The 2 on the inside, I don't think there's a hair's breadth between the 2 of them. And I've got Penzell Bale on top. Just a little bit better beginner, I think. He's been very consistent at the top level. Races very, very well. Tattoo's racing well. Box number 1, he's certainly got a terrific chance. I'm going to throw in Magic Muffin. Last couple have been horrible, falling out of boxes, but he's a very capable greyhound. I'm going to take 2, 1 and 6. The third leg of the quaddie, race number 7 here, 5:15 metre, free for all. It's a top field. Salad Dodge is just drawn where he loves it in box number 1. He's won 8 and 2 from 11 from the red, and he's there tonight. And he's got a good record at Sandown, 4 from 5 here on the track. I've got him on top. I think he'll win. I'm going to take Lapenny Manelli and Dundee Rebel as well in the quaddie, but pretty keen about Salad Dodger from box number 1. And in the last leg of the quaddie, race number 8, 5.95 here. The reds come out. I do like 6, 2, and I'm throwing in 4 now, a kind of Jack. Distracting. She's really flying. Brilliant win last week, 34.22. She's got a lot of early speed, very good box manners. I think she can win from Melville Bale, who was also a pretty solid winner here in 34.27. Not much between them. A kind of Jack, always thereabouts in this company. So 6, 2 and 4 in the quaddie coming home. So good luck and good punting tonight, David, and our best bet again, race 4, number 1, Tommy Tequila, to bounce out of the red and get home for the punters at a very short quote of $1.85.
He's had a bit of luck with the box draws of late, Tommy Tequila, as well. He's drawn the red 3 of his last 4 starts, and he's won at all of them. So box 1 again, they'll be very, very happy. Hopefully the winning streak can continue for Tommy Tequila there tonight, race 4, number 1, the best bet for Neil Brown. Appreciate your time as always, Neil. Have a ripper weekend. Good luck tonight out there at Sandown.
Good on you, David. Speak to you next week.
There we have it. Neil Brown, the Hall of Famer. He is an absolute ornament to the sport of greyhound racing, and he's done a wonderful job across there at Sandown. They have set up, of course, their museum downstairs. Next time you visit the greyhounds, if you're on holidays across there at Sandown, check out the museum that they've got downstairs there. It's absolutely superb. It takes you back through from when greyhound racing started across there at Sandown. It's got some wonderful trophies and videos of years gone by. Absolutely superb. It's now 28 minutes after 10 here on Great Greys. Only a couple of minutes away for our next race to broadcast here at Kangaroo Island. And having a look at the market with Tab Touch, Prince Takia is at the head of the market, opened at 10. Crunched into $2.70. That's some go. Persian Empire, $2.20 out to $3.30. Hobo Bob, $3.90, as big as 5 now, $4.40. Run On, 10 into $7.50. Hypercanes, 5 out to $9. Fair Go Fiona, 21, as big as 26 now, 11. And Cowley's Creek, $6.50, as big as 12, and that's where it now sits. Clearly, though, the very interesting runner here, number 2, Prince Takia, $10. Into $2.70, Matty.
And I'm not sure if we have a delay there or not, but I can't see or hear anything to the track at Kangaroo Island. They are on start time for the first event. Haven't been forwarded on any info pertaining to a delay, so get your bets on to avoid disappointment. It is paying at Hamilton, race number 1. Dibs released. Goulburn in 10 minutes' time. Favourite at $2.80 dual approach, $2.90 for 10 feathers. So, shortly we might get underway with Shaw Matheson here, and I'll keep you posted about anything for Kangaroo Island, but can't see or hear anything for the moment to the track.
This is Great Greys on Tab Radio. Go, you good thing.
Accordingly, we'll catch up with our man in South Australia, Shaun Matheson. There is no sign of that first there at Kangaroo Island, but if you want to have a bet there and follow some of that money in, by all means, we'll keep you up to speed as that news comes to hand. Let's welcome in Shaun on this Thursday morning. How do we find you today, Shaun?
Yeah, hi, David. Yeah, really good here in SA. Our weather's quite nice. Unfortunately, it seems like we're going to get some of your weather in the coming days and week, and we're probably not looking forward to that.
No, 43 today over here in the west, so pretty hot stuff. But nonetheless, air conditioning's a beautiful thing, and that'll get us through, I'm sure. Let's get your thoughts tonight. Big night of chasing there at Angle Park. The first race, 3 minutes past 4 WA time, and 12 big ones up for grabs. Talk us through the key plays on the card.
Okay, David. So I think it'll be a favourite-dominated night, and there's some that are really short. So whilst I think they might win, I think we'll just give the listeners hopefully a bit more value. So I've got 3 best bets, and they're in race 6, number 2, Dashing Deb for Gavin Harris. She's at $3.70. She's on the second line of betting here. Zipping Neutron's the favourite. But I just think with Dashing Deb here over the $5.95, she's in career best form. She leads this race without any problems at all. She's been running placings behind Victor Marley and at Hana Rico. She got no problem with the $5.95 distance. She's still super strong at the end. I just think she'll be out in front and really, really hard to catch. I think at the $3.70, I think she's going to be the one to beat.
Like it. Race 6, number 2, Dashing Deb at a little bit of value. On to the second of your plays.
Second of the plays is in the very next race, and it's race 7, number 1, Raver's Army for Tim Aloisi. This dog returned to the racetrack after about 2.5 months off with a really good third last week from Box 1. He loves Box 1. He's won 7 races from his 12 starts. He's the favourite, $2.30. There's a lot of speed in the race, but he's just drawn so perfectly. He'll just punch up the rails, hopefully just be in behind the speed, and the run will come for him, I'm sure, late. And second up, I think he'll be really hard to hold out.
All righty, race 7, teaming up with a red runner there, a Raver's Army. And the third of your key plays tonight there at Angle Park?
Third of the key plays is in race 9, and this is a favourite dog of mine. Number 6, Woodside Johnny, has absolutely so much ability, this dog. He's just finding ways to get beaten. He steps up to the $5.95 for the first time, and I'm hoping that's the key to him. He's actually got enough speed to be up on speed and hopefully take away any bad luck out of the race. For mine, it's only really a two-dog race between him and the 2 Rico Nismo, and he'll be in front of Rico Nismo, and he's very strong at the end. So I'm hoping with a really clear passage, we'll actually see the very best of him tonight.
Very nice indeed. So 3 of the star bets on the card tonight for Sean Matheson. Race 6, number 2, Dashing Deb. Race 7, number 1, Ravers Army. And race 9, number 6, Woodside Johnny. We've also got chasing at Murray Bridge on Friday, the early start, Angle Park on Saturday morning, and then Gawler on Sunday. Do you have anything for the punters there?
Okay, I'll be quick because I know you guys are pushed for time there today. So Murray Bridge tomorrow, race 7, number 3, Victor Alfred for Lee Bartholomew. They've travelled up from Mount Gambier. Always respect when they travel up to Murray Bridge. He returned to the racetrack after 4 months off last week and was a really good second. He's won over 455, over the 395. Really hard to beat tomorrow at Murray Bridge. And then we go to Angle Park Saturday morning. Race 9, number 2, Blue Pete for Michael Taylor. A really good third last Thursday night at Angle Park in the final of these types of races, these low-grade races. Was getting home really hard, and this heat is not very strong at all. Just a bit of luck early, and he'll run over the top of him. He might be favourite because the depth is really not there in that race. And then at Gawler on Sunday, race 9, number 8, Zipping Elkie for Clint Trengove, has strung a couple of really good wins together. This is probably as hard a test as what she's come up against recently over the 643, but she showed enough speed last week that she should actually cross this field, and she does have good staying pedigree, so she should be able to get the job done on Sunday night.
Beautiful. Murray Bridge Friday, race 7, number 3, Victor Alfred. Angle Park Saturday, race 9, number 2, Blue Pete. And Gawler Sunday, race 9, number 8, Zipping Elkie. Beautifully done, Sean. Really appreciate your time as always here on the program. Enjoy your chasing over there in SA. Look forward to our chat next week.
Yeah, no worries, David. We'll talk then.
Excellent. Well, hopefully we can get through and find out how things are going there across in Sydney. That Kangaroo Island not appearing at all on Sky at the bottom of the screen at the moment, and they generally would let us know if it's sort of any time soon. So just keep your eyes peeled if you've had a bet on the first there at Kangaroo Island, but not too far away, as Maddie suggested, for Goulburn. Race number 2 on the program. That's now only 5 minutes away. Race number 2 of the day at Hamilton comes up at 10 minutes to 11. We're fronting up to an odds-on favourite there in the form of Jack Knows Best, $1.80 into 134. The scratching of 8 written rules here. Fifth Husband has been easy to back, 5 out to $7.50. To Capo, $5.50, now out to $8.50. El Campion, $7.50 to 11. The Rattling Bog, 11 to 12. 11B, 12 out to 18. Time Lucas, 26 to 41. And All About Attitude is $61 out to $71. Still to come on the program today, we'll be hearing from Simon Orchard and also the Shane Train Williams. Matty, everything okay to catch up with Simon now?
Yeah, he's ready and waiting.
Let's get straight to the great man, Simon Orchard. Wonderful to have you on the program on this Thursday. How do we find you across there in New South Wales?
Always find me good, Shorty. Cannot wait for another big weekend of feature race. It feels like I say that every week. We've just got features absolutely coming out of the yin-yang, mate. The Bullo Gold Cup is tomorrow night, of course. The Bullo worth 40,000, Group 2 event. And then the Robert Smith Memorial Maiden, Saturday night, 20 grand, and a couple of really exciting youngsters stepping out in that beautiful maiden race worth $20,000 in honour of the late and great Robert Smith as well, mate. So each and every week we've got plenty of races for our dogs. Don't have to travel anymore, can stay right here in the great state of New South Wales.
There's some great opportunities, and I love those maiden series. Often a number of the big kennels keep a couple up their sleeve, Simon, and generally we see some of the real genuine stars of the sport for the upcoming months and years that do get trotted out.
Yeah, you're spot on, Shorty. I reckon in the last couple of years, the Zoom Top Maiden at Goulburn has taken real precedence for a lot of these big kennels, and a lot of the great chasers of the last 2 years have come out of those two maiden series in the last couple of years, as I mentioned. But this Robert Smith Memorial Maiden, you go back through the history. 2 years ago, it was run for the first time and won by French Martini. We know what she went on to do. Second place in that race was Embrace, who was a Group 1 winner in the Peter Mossman. And third was Vamoose, who took out the Thunderbolt. That was just year one. Last year, of course, Has Ability came out, had a wonderful 2023, finished in the $1 Million Chase final at the back end of last year, went around in the Gosford Summer 600 just last week, the Gosford Cup as well. So some wonderful runners have come out of the series. But I think this year, I don't want to put the mock on them, but Mr. Peregrine for John and Jane Carruthers, who are in the fastest ever maiden time at the track in the heat, looks something special. And there's another dog by the name of Power and Glory for Kenny Burnett, who just was luckless in the run last week, and I think will be a big improver on Saturday night as well. So looking forward to it, mate. Some absolutely classic contests coming up.
Saw that win from Mr. Peregrine. What a gap job that ended up being, and it was quite timely because earlier on last week we'd spoken to Linda Britton, who had some wonderful clashes with John and Jane Carruthers, of course, who at the time had the very, very smart chaser. To this day, probably the smartest greyhound I've ever seen in a field in Rapid Journey, who was taking on WA's own Reggie Mite back in that era. So, yeah, great to see the Carruthers with another really smart greyhound in Mr. Peregrine. We're getting close to the start here at Goulburn over the 1,500 metres. I might just get you to hold for a moment, Simon. We'll get the latest market update here for race 2 Goulburn. Take this race, and when we return, we'll get the best bets for Simon Orchard across New South Wales over the next few days.
You're listening to Great Greys on Tab Radio.
Well, it's now 18 minutes away from 11. We're catching up with Simon Orchard, talking all things New South Wales greyhound racing. Simon, let's see if we can't find a few winners for the punters. You've maintained that excellent form in recent weeks. Who are you liking over the next few days?
Yeah, plenty happening, Shorty. Hopefully tonight at Dapto we can get them in back-to-back races. Race 4, number 1, Skedaddle Tommy. Probably getting a little bit short now, but had a good win at Nowra during the week, so we might as well butter up against Skedaddle Tommy. Likes the rails draw. That's 4-1 at Dapto. And then in the very next race, race 5, number 6, Great Rate for the Lord Kennel, of course, trained and owned by Hayley Moffat as well at the moment, the daughter of Andy, doing a wonderful job up here in New South Wales. So I think Great Rate's got the early speed to maybe get out in front of Cambridge King in the 7, who's the favourite at the moment. I think Great Rate can improve after only having the 3 starts so far. So that's race 4, number 1, and 5, 6 at Dapto tonight. If you want to have a play in the Bulleye Gold Cup tomorrow, gee whiz, it's a hell of a race, Shorty. You've got Good Odds Cobber and Zipping Megatron at the moment vying for favouritism from 3 and 4. I actually don't mind the look of Nangar Larry, who wants to be wide. There's plenty of pace in the race, so it's probably just going to come down to a bit of luck in running and who can get around that first bend intact. But gee whiz, I'd love to see Zipping Megatron do something and announce himself as the next star of sprinting here in New South Wales. But I'm going the way of Nangar Larry, race 8, number 7, the $40,000 feature. And then on Saturday night, of course, we've got that Robert Smith Memorial Maiden that I was talking about at the Gardens. I think Power and Glory, 7-5, can redeem himself. He actually trialled quicker than Mr. Peregrine did about 2 weeks ago. I think went 29.15 or so at the Gardens. Mr. Peregrine came out and put the runs on the board in the heats, but was pretty dominant out in front. I think 17-length winning margin in the end. I think Power and Glory was a bit like me walking out of the pub on a Saturday night, just wobbling around the place. So I reckon he can run a better race. That's 7-5 at the Gardens in the Robert Smith Memorial. And then if you want to have a play at Wenty Park, 2-5, You Never Lose, and 3-3, Cambridge King. They are the best, courtesy of the Hound at Greyhound Racing, New South Wales. So plenty to do, plenty to bet on. Good luck if you're having a go over the next couple of days.
Beautiful work. So we'll be getting involved tonight at Dapto. Race 4, number 1, Skedaddle Tommy, and race 5, number 6, Great Rate to Bulleye. Race 8, number 7, Nangar Larry in the feature. The Gardens, race 7, number 5, Power and Glory, and then Wentworth Park on Saturday night. Race 2, number 5, race 3, number 3. And Simon, as always, we can follow all of the great work on thedogs.com.au.
Absolutely, my friend. We'll be across the tracks over the next few days. Plenty of previews hitting in the next 24 hours. And then, of course, the live action and reaction from the track across our big weekend of chasing, mate.
Magnificent work. Appreciate your time, Simon Orchard. Keep smashing them, mate. We look forward to our chat next Thursday here on Great Greys.
Hooroo.
There we have it, the latest from Simon Orchard in New South Wales Greyhound Racing. Let's get back to Maddie, race number 2 at Goulburn. The punters got the lot here. Dual approach, $8 into $2.70.
and 280, 140 on the tote. Number 9, 10 Jukebox Money, 240, 12 10 Feathers at 140, 1080 Quinella, 1920 Exacta, $50.80 Trifecta, 9 10, 12 4 First 4, $180.90. The running double 730, numbers 6 into 9 there. 9 was the sub with 13 the scratching, and weight or otherwise to come. Hamilton in 3 minutes time, $1.90 Jack Knows Best, number 1, 3 Fifth Husband at 6, 5 El Campion at 7, and number 6 11B at 8. And still no news at Kangaroo Island. Not a clue what is happening there. 16 minutes behind advertised start time.
This is your home of the Greyhound Good Oil, Great GREYS.
Well, he's back, punters. Was over there running rampant across in Ireland over the last couple of weeks. We've missed him here on Great GREYS, but great to see him back and straight back into the winners list as well there last night at Mandurah. The Shane Train Williams. Welcome to you, Train.
Yeah, morning, Shorty. Good morning, listeners. And sincere apologies for missing last week, Shorty. He's got lost track of time over there and obviously having a good time as well, so apologies for that.
That's what holidays are for, Train. That's okay. We can make up for it this week. Just a quick snapshot. We've got 2 minutes to go until Hamilton, but a highlight or two. I note that you got to a stack of different race meetings across there in Ireland. What was the highlight for you?
The highlight would have been the coursing weekend, Shorty. There was probably 10,000 people there, packed in the infield of Clonmel Gallops racecourse. It was something of, just I'll never forget it. Just the people there and the passion that they show for the sport. I just had a ball the whole trip, Shorty. Met some wonderful people and everyone's so friendly there. And I could go back tomorrow if I could. But, it's definitely penciled in for next year already, Shorty, that trip again. And the weather wasn't too bad. I managed to wear shorts a couple of days there where a few of the boys said I wouldn't. But, it was a real good trip. And I went and visited some kennels as well while I was there. And, they're very strong, the Irish greyhounds, and like I said, they're all lovely people.
Any noticeable differences between what we do here and what they do over there with their training of greyhound, Shane?
I think similar. The circle track dogs are very similar to how we work them. We went to a gentleman called Pat Buckley's place, and he's one of the leading trainers over there, and he was a really good fella, and his setup's very similar to what ours, but the coursing dogs, Shorty, they're totally different. They're just... some of the bitches over there are 40 kilos, and they just built for speed and power to run up the hill. So I have 6 runs up the straight in 3 days, so they've got to be very durable. And, it's like going back in time, Shorty. It was a sensational trip. And a little highlight was, I'm not going to mention his name, but one of the Australian tourists, he come out of the window in the motel from the second story, Shorty, but luckily he's lived to tell the tale.
This is your home of the Greyhound Good Oil, Great GREYS.
Well, we've got Shane Williams on the line. Shane, let's rip into finding a few winners. Good program tonight there at Mandurah. You've got a strong hand on Friday night with the fastest qualifier, Jamie Keeping from last week. Stevie Manelli's also there in that Mandurah Middle Distance Challenge final on Friday night, and Puppy Classic heats out there at Cannington on Saturday. Big few nights of chasing ahead.
Yeah, there's some very good cards over the next 3 nights, Shorty. And, the 2 girls in the final on Friday, really looking forward to that. The girls here have done a good job while I've been away. Winners have been flowing, so we hope to continue that on, Shorty.
All right, well, let's get your thoughts tonight at Mandurah.
Yeah, tonight, Mandurah, Shorty, going to kick off race 5, number 1, Call Waiting. This dog's back in grade from winning last Friday night. The 2's the only danger there, Shorty, but this dog's got a couple of lengths up his sleeve on the clock, and dog from Melbourne that Cody Charles has acquired, and I think it'll be hard to beat tonight, Shorty. Race 5, number 1, Call Waiting. And then we'll go to race 10, number 2, Luke's Cole. This dog's 6 weeks off a freshen up, Shorty. I think he's the best dog in the race, nice and fresh. I like to see some each way odds here, and I'm keen to have a little play on him as well. So 2 tonight, 5-1 and 10-2.
Okay, on to Mandurah for Friday night.
Yeah, Mandurah Friday night, Shorty. This one's hard to miss. Race 6, number 1, Hinto. He's drawn inside 2, 3, 4 wide runners there. He looks like he's got the best map you've ever seen. So race 6, number 1, Hinto, very, very keen. And then we'll go over to race 10, number 8, Solid Tank, Shorty, who led up last week in a very strong race and only just pipped on the post. His sections are really good. We can get a really good card over from the 7 dog here. So, yeah, keen them 2 tomorrow night, Shorty, 6-1 and 10-8.
All right, and then we'll switch to Saturday night, Cannington, for those Puppy Classic heats. A great night of chasing to look forward to out there at headquarters.
Yeah, I thought them Puppy Classic heats were very tricky. Dave Hobby's got the majority of the runners there, and it's very hard sometimes to work it out when kennel mates are drawn around each other and whatnot. But I'm going to kick it off race 3, number 4, Mustang Timmy, a dog stepping up to the 600 for the first time. Shorty, go back a few runs ago, he led all the way in 29.80 odd. I think he can find the arm here and set up a real big break. He might get a little bit leg rear at the end, but I think he can do the damage early there. Race 3, number 4, Mustang Timmy. And then we'll go over to race 5, number 1, one of them Puppy Classic heats, where Chris Hulse has taken on the Hobby Juggernaut here. This dog, again's got really good early speed. Shorty tipped him a couple of times, and I think he can put himself right up on the arm and be hard to beat. So 3, 4 and 5, 1 on Saturday night.
All right, so Wise Barra, the second of the plays there Saturday night for the train, 3, 4, 5, 1. What about from the kennel? Who can we back from your camp with a bit of confidence over the next few days?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Shorty, this is probably one of the hottest free-for-alls I've ever seen in my life. I've got one in at first up from Melbourne, a dog called Get a Beer. He's well named. I think we named him after Digby Beecham. So race 5, number 2, he is Shorty. And look, he's trying to get a couple of lengths off a former real good dog we had in Blackpool Flash. So I know that's a hot race, and if he goes up silly odds, I think he's a really good each-way bet there. Race 5, number 2, Get a Beer. And then we'll go to Sunday, Shorty. We gave this dog a little break a few weeks ago, and she's really relished that. She's come back and won her last 2 starts over 400, and on Tuesday night she went 22-12, which is a very hot run. Stepped her up to the 488 this week. She's drawn 8 out where she wants to be. Race 11, number 8, Speedy Genie on Saturday. That would be the best 2 of my team over the next few nights, Shorty.
Excellent. Great to have you back in the country, Shane. I appreciate your time as always here on Great Greys. Good luck with all of your runners over the next few days, and we'll catch up with you again next Thursday right here on Great Greys.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Have a good one.
There we have it. The Shane Train Williams, he's back in one piece, and they're his thoughts for chasing over the next few days. Tonight they're at Mandurah Punters. I'm teaming up with race 4, number 1, Grey. Race 5, number 1, Call Waiting, I thought was the best bet on the card. Deeper into the program, race 9, number 5 in Spooky Hook. I thought race 11, number 1, Flying Goldwing was worth a look, and rounding it up with race 12, number 4, Sunset Bubbles. That is Great Greys done and dusted on this Thursday morning. Matty McDermott, you've been outstanding as always. They're not far away from the first here at Ipswich over the 800 metres. To yourself and everybody tuned in, have a wonderful Thursday. Wishing you all many winners.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.